Okay, I'm going to talk about a device that's being crowdfunded, and I'm kind of interested in it, and I'm going to speak kind of positive about it, but if you're cynical about it, I don't blame you. There's been other failures in crowdfunding with retro video games, but there's also been some successes. I mean, Collector Vision's done some great things that were crowdfunded, haven't they? I think so. Have Watermelon Games, I mean, their funding came from somewhere. But anyway, I'm going to take a look at Seedi. Yeah, it sounds a little bit seedy. Does it sound like a CD product to you, as in seedy? Yeah, that's what I first thought when I saw the name. Is this sounds like a seedy organization? Then I stopped, because there's an image of a CD disc behind it in the logo in the title, and it's like CD, as in compact disc, a CD, not something that's seedy, as in seed But anyway, yeah, I mean, other than playing around with the name, hell, it's a far better name than Nintendo Switch. Switch? Really? Switch? I liked it when it was the NX, the Nintendo X. I like that sound, the NX. Better than the N64, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, I kind of like the name CD. If it wasn't that at first, when I first looked at it, I thought, this sounds a little seedy? But anyway, actually, I think this sounds cool. And hopefully this won't turn out to be something like the retro video game system that kind of flunked out, because I thought that had some promise too, especially considering the fact it was going to be backwards compatible with a series of older video game consoles. It's worth mentioning, as I record this early in the morning on, September 25th of 2017, there's still a month left for crowdfunding, and as far as I can tell, I think it just started about last week. So in about a week, we've gotten about 26% of the way. That's about 26% of the way to fully funded. I'm cheering it on, I'm hoping it gets there. When I got the Retro Freak, and I really love the Retro Freak, it's a great device, the first thing I thought is, well, it's great that all these cartridge games are being emulated on this really well done emulation box, and output to signals to a television. I really like that. An actual gadget designed to emulate all those game systems, and I would gravitate more to clone consoles and preferably using original hardware, but I like the novelty of these multi-console boxes, such as clone consoles and, well, the Retro Freak, which is technically an emulation box. I love that stuff. And I thought, how awesome it would be if this thing had an add-on that allowed it to do disc games like Sega CD and Grafx CD. That would be awesome. And I just hoped for something like the Retro Freak that was compact disc based rather than cartridge based. Well, that's what CD is. The people behind it came up with an idea that it's basically like an emulation box, but it's gonna play Sega CD, Grafx CD, PlayStation, Neo Geo CD, some DOS games and stuff like that. Oh, and by the way, region-free DVD player. Yeah, it plays DVD movies, and it's region-free. All of these things about it impress me. An alternate way to play my Sega CD games where I'm not wearing out the original laser. That's pretty cool. A Grafx CD. Grafx CDs, they're a great video game system, but they're not that easy to come by. PlayStation, yeah, there's PlayStations all over the place anyway, so whatever. Neo Geo CD, well, I'm not that interested in the Neo Geo line of games. I gravitate more towards what I see available for the Atari Jaguar and the 3DO. But that said, I don't plan to get a Neo Geo CD. But you know what? It might be cool to be able to play some of those games. So again, it's cool that it's there. So, what can I say about this device? Well, if we take a look at one of the pictures that's available for it, we see, um, well, it's, well, it comes in a box, black box. It looks really cool. The system itself is kind of a black box. It looks really cool. Power supply, a USB cable adapter. Some of them are going to come with a controller that's a rip-off of the PlayStation controller. It's wireless. They tend to hold a preference to wireless. I hate wireless. I like seeing a physical connection. And above all else, when it comes to controllers and stuff like that, I don't want to have to recharge it. I just want to plug it into the system and be done with it. I know wires are a nuisance. They get tangled, and I hate that about them. But I hate wireless even more. So I'm not interested in getting a wireless controller with this thing. But I am interested in this device, and I'm hoping that it turns out to be exactly what they say it is, and that they're successful with this, because I think this is really cool. But that is a cool looking controller. I gotta say that, it's a knockoff of the PlayStation 3 controller. Probably not as good a quality, but whatever. It's a nice looking controller, and who knows, that the actual controller that comes with it might not look exactly like that. We're talking third-party controllers here that they're acquiring for with the system. And when you take a look at, some of the pictures available of it, this thing hooks up to the Retrode. If you don't know what the Retrode is, it's a device that allows your computers to hook up to Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo cartridges, as well as Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo controllers. That's pretty cool. I always wanted one. I never got around to getting one. I think it would be great to allow the copying of save files and so forth. Hey, I have to wonder, if this hooks up to a Retrode, could I use the old Sega CD RAM card to copy my saves to and from the CD? That's a thought that pops into my mind. I don't know. Like I said, I'm interested in this, and I'm probably more positive than I'd ever recommend anybody else being. Because, crowdfunding, stuff that's crowdfunded, I fully understand why people are cynical about such things. But anyway, Sega. Anyway, Sega cartridges. And this thing is supposed to support Sega Genesis emulation. Hopefully it does a good job with it. Sega Genesis, it's often tricky to get the sound correct. But, anyway, it does not do Super Nintendo, but it will do both Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo controllers through the Retrode. And the Sega Genesis controller, it would be an excellent controller to use for a wide variety of games. That's a great way of playing games. I also recommend the Xbox 360 controller. There's a RetroLink USB version of the Sega Saturn controller. That's a pretty cool controller. Lots of great ways to control games. But I think it's really cool that the Retrode is compatible with this device. As the pictures of this also show, it's obviously a CD-based video game system. Also does DVDs. So my Australian copy of Extreme Ghostbusters, I'll be able to just put that in this thing and play it. Region-free DVD playing. That is awesome to me. So for something that's going to be a little bit more than $100, I actually think this is a pretty cool device. And I know a lot of people will be cynical about it. Some people thought, it's nothing more than a RetroPie. Except that, what they said is in it is not a RetroPie, and fairly decent device it sounds like, and whatever hardware is inside of it, it's gonna be playing DVDs, and it's doing it region-free. Sega CD, and of course that also means Mega CD games and TurboGrafx CD games. That's interesting. You will have to download BIOS for Sega CD and TurboGrafx CD and Neo Geo CD games, and they recommend doing the same for PlayStation, but apparently it can emulate PlayStation on its own, which is pretty cool. I mean, Bleem did a good job of emulating PlayStation. Unfortunately, Bleem kind of requires a computer with Windows 95 or Windows 98. I wonder, this thing does DOS. I wonder if you could get it to play Bleem. That's a thought. I don't know. But yeah, also old DOS games. Various personal computer games are going to work on this thing. So, to me, it's worth taking a look at. I'm hoping it is successful. Like I said, I really enjoyed the Retro Freak. That was a gadget I loved. I loved certain versions of the Super Retro Trio that was actually a newer version of it that I thought was horrible. I love gadgets like that, and this was something I was hoping for a long time, so I'm hoping this is successful. It's very interesting to me, and I hope it does well, and I'm looking forward to getting one. And yeah, and to bring you news about this, well, I just wanted to talk about it, make people aware of it. And like I said, I'm probably way too positive about this thing, and I firmly suggest cynicism whenever getting involved with anything crowdfunded. Still, I think this is worth taking a look at, and I'm really hopeful that it'll be successful, because I think this is a cool device and a cool idea, and like I said, I love the Retro Freak. And to me, this sounds like a CD-based version of the Retro Freak. Instead of cartridges, it's going to do games on disc. CD discs. So anyway, feel free to take a look into it. If it's something you might like to plug into your TV and it's a gadget you think is interesting, I recommend considering crowdfunding it. But, that's your choice. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. It looks like something I'm interested in taking a risk on, and yeah, to me this was something I was hoping would get made. So, I'm hopeful. I'm hoping. I don't know. Maybe my hopes and dreams will be crushed, but I think this is cool. So I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully this crowdfunding venture on Indiegogo will be successful. And anyway, yeah, that's just me rambling about this. Yeah, feel free to check out some of my other videos. And, not that long ago I talked about watermelon. Watermelon's cool. CollectorVision is cool. There's lots of things going on with retro video games. Lots of companies out there producing stuff. So, yeah, feel free to check out some of my other videos talking about old video games and other stuff. Okay, so this has been a really laid back and quite positive discussion, or just me discussing it, talk about Seedi, the Seedi retro video game console. I'm Joey. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can feel free to check out more of my videos, as I was just saying, but I will end this with one thought. What if this product, all along I've been saying feel free to be cynical, what if this product isn't really as good as we're hoping? What can you do about that?
I'm gonna boil some pierogies! Yeah!
That's right. That's right, nothing. Well.
Yeah, Ukrainian-style roasted garlic!
Pretty much nothing, you can do whatever you want, but there's nothing you can do about it. It sounds interesting, and I think it's worth taking a chance on, but that's my personal opinion, and, whatever, I'm not telling you to take a chance on it. I just happen to find this interesting.
When they start to float, that's how you know when they're done.